Murder seldom transpires in plain sight, yet the case of Christine Belford is a stark exception, demonstrating the extent to which deep-rooted animosity can manifest in even the most public and institutional of settings. In the hallowed halls of the new Castle County Courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware, Belford's life was deliberately, abruptly, and tragically taken publicly. This calamity was the tragic endpoint of a custody dispute that spanned over half a decade, centered around the well-being of her 3 daughters. On that pivotal day, Belford was at the courthouse for a child support hearing, scheduled for 8:30 a.m., a seemingly routine event in her ongoing legal confrontation with her ex-husband, David Matusiewicz. In a place where safety and order are presumed, the courthouse witnessed a jarring reversal of its role, becoming the scene of a fatal confrontation. This case not only highlights the devastating outcomes of familial disputes, but also raises critical questions about the security and vulnerability of public legal settings. Christine Belford and David Matusiewicz' relationship, which ultimately led to a tragic end, began in a seemingly ordinary manner. They met in 1993 when Christine was working as a receptionist in the same doctor's office, where David, a successful optometrist, was employed. They started dating in 1998 and married in 2001. The couple seemed to have a promising start, moving into a large home in Middletown, Delaware, and growing their family to include 3 daughters, in addition to Christine's daughter from a previous marriage. However, their relationship deteriorated over time, leading to divorce and child custody proceedings in 2007. The custody battle over their 3 daughters became highly contentious. In August 2007, the conflict took a dramatic turn when David and his mother, Lenore Matusiewicz, kidnapped the children and fled to South America. This act was a clear escalation of the ongoing dispute and marked a turning point in their relationship. The children were eventually recovered, and in 2009, both David and Lenore were caught and sentenced to 48 months in prison. Following this, David lost his paternal rights, a significant outcome of his actions during the custody dispute. After serving their prison sentences for the kidnapping, David Matusiewicz and his mother, Lenore, were released, but the consequences of their actions continued to reverberate. The bitter custody battle and divorce proceedings, which had already been marked by extreme measures, entered a new phase. David, having lost his paternal rights, and his family began a relentless campaign of cyberstalking against Christine Belford. The cyberstalking campaign against Christine Belford by David Matusiewicz and his family was extensive and methodically executed. Following David's sentencing for kidnapping in December 2009, he began orchestrating a campaign from his prison cell to stalk, harass, and intimidate Christine Belford and her children. He enlisted his father, mother, sister, and various other persons in this effort, which stretched from December 2009 to February 2013. The campaign included the broad dissemination of false and defamatory allegations against Christine. Additionally, the Matusiewicz family posted false allegations on websites and YouTube, and even hired a private investigator to spy on Belford at her home. These actions significantly impacted Christine's life, leading her to express fear for her safety in exchanges with family, friends, and her lawyer. The FBI and the Delaware State Police's investigation into this matter led to the first ever convictions on charges of cyberstalking, resulting in death, a violation of the Federal Violence Against Women Act. Unfortunately, I was unable to find more detailed information about the specifics of the cyberstalking campaign, such as the exact nature of the online posts and the full scope of the surveillance activities. However, the available information clearly illustrates the extent and impact of the Matusiewicz family's actions against Christine Belford. If you have more specific information, please share them in the comments. On February 11, 2013, Thomas Matusiewicz, the father of David, carried out the fatal shooting at the New Castle County Courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware. Arriving at the courthouse at 7:40 a.m., he waited 35 minutes for Christine Belford, who was there for a scheduled child support hearing. Upon her arrival with her friend Laura Mulford, Thomas Matusiewicz opened fire, killing both women with a .45 caliber semi-automatic handgun, shooting them in their upper bodies at close range. This occurred in the courthouse's public lobby, an area accessible to visitors before the security checkpoint with metal detectors. In addition to shooting Belford and Mulford, Matusiewicz also shot two Capitol Police officers, Michael Manley and Stephen Reinhardt, in the chest. Their lives were saved thanks to their Kevlar vests. The state police returned fire, hitting Matusiewicz as he attempted to leave the lobby. After being hit, Matusiewicz then fatally turned a gun on himself. Following the shooting, David, his mother Lenore, and his sister Amy Gonzalez were arrested and eventually convicted on charges of conspiracy, interstate stalking resulting in death, and cyberstalking resulting in death. In February 2016, they were sentenced to life in prison, marking a significant legal precedent as this was the first case in the United States where defendants were convicted of cyberstalking resulting in death. After the tragic events at the courthouse, the guardianship and welfare of Christine Belford's three daughters became a matter of concern. The state of Delaware took over as the guardian of the three girls, who were between the ages of 7 to 10 at the time. Amy Gonzalez, the daughter of Thomas Matusiewicz, the shooter and sister of David Matusiewicz, expressed interest in obtaining custody of her nieces. However, due to the termination of David's parental rights and her lack of legal relationship to the girls, she was not given familial preference in the custody proceedings. The situation was further complicated by legal restrictions. Lenore Matusiewicz, the children's grandmother, and David Matusiewicz' mother had been previously convicted in a state court for her role in the kidnapping of the girls to Central America. Following the courthouse shooting, she was barred by a Delaware court order from contacting her granddaughters. As of the latest available information, David Matusiewicz remains incarcerated. In February 2016, David, along with his mother and sister, was found guilty of conspiracy, interstate stalking resulting in death, and cyberstalking resulting in death in a landmark case. Despite David's request for a lighter sentence of 33 months and his expression of remorse for his father's actions, the substantial evidence against him led to a life sentence. He is currently serving his sentence at the United States Penitentiary in Terre Haute, Indiana. Reflecting on the tragedy involving Christine Belford, David Matusiewicz, and his family, we are confronted with the profound complexities of human nature and the destructive potential of deep-seated emotional turmoil. This case demonstrates the devastating escalation that can result from unresolved anger and bitterness, particularly within familial disputes. It also highlights the critical need for effective communication, empathy, and robust conflict resolution mechanisms in our social fabric. A poignant aspect of this tragedy is the ambiguity surrounding David's knowledge of his father's plans. We may never truly know whether David was aware of his father's intentions on that fateful day. This uncertainty adds another layer of complexity to the tragedy, reminding us of the often unseen undercurrents that drive human actions and the far-reaching impact they can have on lives and communities. As I conclude this episode of Deliberately Deadly, I urge you to heed this crucial message found within this tragic story. In our own lives, remember the importance of open communication and kindness, even in the really challenging times. Our choices words and actions have profound impacts on those around us. May this story remind us to approach conflicts with empathy and seek resolutions that protect the sanctity of life and the well-being of all involved. Thank you for joining us, and until our next episode, stay aware, stay kind, and keep exploring the complex narratives of human nature with us on Deliberately Deadly. Please support my channel by subscribing and liking the information I've shared here.